quite a while. In fact, we ended up looking, I just went back at my notes, at least 17 different cities, probably more than that, and met with most of the economic development committees representing each of those cities or counties in the area: southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, eastern South Dakota. So 2000 to 2003 was the time when we had outgrown our main facility, added another 20,000 square feet down in the sewer. Is there enough background before I get into kind of the selection criteria?
Yep. I think that's good. If you could move into that selection criteria and the process.
Yeah. First, our goal was real simple: is we needed additional manufacturing space, and we wanted it to be in an affordable area geographically. Okay? We weren't going to move into a more expensive place to build products. It didn't make any sense. Most people wouldn't. So with that simple search criteria, we started hunting. And very quickly, the list of criteria grew, ways to kind of judge and sort out the good from the bad communities. One was distance from our existing facilities. So proximity to a company's other manufacturing locations is important. More important for some companies than others. In our case, it was moderately to high on the priority list because we run products between these two facilities 4 days a week. We have a company vehicle, and we do some sub-assembly in one factory and need to move it to the other. So in our situation, proximity to other manufacturing facilities is important. So if you're looking at, Duluth and Green Bay and areas like that, they're probably a much hotter target than someone in Minneapolis or Des Moines. They're just more likely to want to be in the neighborhood. Some of the other search criteria, we looked at the 5-year population growth. May not mean anything, but it was one of the things we looked at is what's the community done in the last 5 years. We then looked at other companies in the area, and it's very easy through Chamber of Commerce and so forth to find out who's in the county and what their business is. In our case, we were looking for other electronics companies to see if the supply chain was there, to see if any competitors were there, and if there would be a ready labor pool of people trained by someone else. That actually was a pretty important criteria. So the labor force, perhaps at the top of the list, was very important to us because what we do is fairly technical. It's assembly of electronics with automation, some assembly under microscopes, so it takes special skills or training. And if there's a similar industry within a couple of counties, we could count on having some people apply for jobs right away that would need minimal training. So that was pretty important for us. Resources. We looked in the community, some of the more basic things. We looked at what the population of the county was, and then what the population of the immediate city that was offering us a deal or an opportunity to move in. What did the population base look like? We looked at restaurants in the area. There are places for people to eat on their lunch breaks. We looked at medical clinics and hospitals. Is there a hospital within reasonable distance? So if we're offering a medical plan that we do for all our employees, is there somewhere they can actually go to use that medical plan? And in our case, we ended up purchasing a building and had, $200,000 to $300,000 of renovations done to that building before we start manufacturing. Contractors in the vicinity were very important to us. And if someone didn't sell the local availability of contractors, plumbers, architects, electricians, that was a big mark against them. So that was an important one for us. Transportation is important. As I mentioned, we run a vehicle back and forth, and we do daily UPS shipments in and out of our facility, sometimes twice a day. Our main shipping warehouse is now down in the sewer. We've grown it into a shipping hub along with some manufacturing. So if there was not easy access, that would have been a problem in our case. Going down the list, land for development is very important. The building availability, in our case, was important. We'd rather not start with a greenfield. We were hoping to find a vacant building or a building for sale. much easier. Way down the list for us is tax assistance. It sells well, and we did qualify and enjoy some of the benefits of the Minnesota Job Z program. Governor Pawlenty put that in place. We were actually the first company in the state of Minnesota to be put on the Job Z program. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time. It saved us a few $1,000s a year. We would have made the decision anyway, but it is important. And it does get people's attention if they see clearly there is some state of Michigan or Ontonagon County tax assistance or land assistance or building availability. Those things would catch my attention right away. Support of the community is very important. This one is a little softer, but after being in Le Sueur for 5 years, 5, 6 years now, I can tell you that I'm down there. I used to be going down there twice a week. Now I'm down there at least a couple times a month. And I've never once had a bad experience from someone being disrespectful on the street or not being courteous in the local cafe. It's a typical small town. There's no McDonald's in town, and so forth, but it's just a great community. It's a farm community. There's a couple other medium-sized employers in town, and I've never had a bad experience. It could be an after work, take a few folks to the bar to thank them for a great month. It's lunch at the cafe. It's breakfast at the holiday station. A lot of people will recognize us when we're down there, and they appreciate us being in the community. And that's something that's really hard to force people to do. The community either has that attitude or they don't.